Hi, welcome to BD Stroked. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to go over a survey out of different strokes from the UK about stroke victims, questions they're asked. I have been working on another episode that I wanted to do, and it's been really hard for me. It's how do I fit back in this world? I'm not going to get much better here. I mean, this is kind of what they're telling me I have to work with. So we have to learn how to work with this. And it's tough for me because I want to be better. I want to go further. So either way, that's not where we're going today. But there's a few of these questions. Now, I have not read them all complete. But what we're going to do is Tamara's going to read the question, and then am I going to respond? Because they have a response that they say should be right for these scenarios.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get started.
Ready? So the first one, so these are the top 10 things not to say to a young stroke survivor. And you would be considered a young stroke survivor.
I was 49 years old when I had my stroke.
So, and we have actually heard all of these. You were too
Yes,
young
we
to
have
have had a
actually.
stroke. So the first one, you were too young to have had a stroke.
I guess for me on that one, I don't know what they want to hear. I don't know what I've heard it many times. I don't know what to say to people on that one. The age is getting younger and younger all the time. This is becoming something that we've talked about in other episodes that needs to be addressed.
There is no age limit for stroke. Babies can have a stroke. Unborn babies can have a stroke in utero. So to say you're too young to have a stroke is misguided because it's not an old person scenario now.
And you know, there was a survey done, I think, that they said 84% of people believe that only people over 60 would have a stroke.
Yep.
And it's just not true. The strokes are getting younger and younger, and it's our habits, our busyness, it's everything.
Yep.
But they're getting younger and younger, and we need to learn how to address them. But what do they say should be the answer for that? What was the question again? Because I kind of went.
You're too young to you're too young to have had a stroke.
Yeah.
And basically, it's an awareness factor that a stroke can happen at any age. Okay, next one. You don't look like you have had a stroke.
Heard that one many times too. My new response is thank you. Worked my ass off to get back to here. Appreciate you acknowledging the work I've put in. What am I supposed to have said?
What you're supposed to have said. What does looking like you had a stroke really mean?
Well, it means I'm supposed to be drooling. I'm supposed to have my hand all over the place. People don't know what to do with somebody like me. But I'm telling, there's going to be more of me's out there because our medical's getting so much better.
Yeah. Saying someone doesn't look like they've had a stroke, a lot of times it sounds like it's supposed to be a compliment, but to someone who has had a stroke, it's not. People experience symptoms differently, and a lot of times when you're talking to a stroke survivor, they're doing everything in their power to make it look like they haven't had a stroke. And that's another question, so don't answer.
Okay, I think I got an answer to that.
So for a lot of people, it just makes them feel invalidated when you say that. It's an invalidating phrase versus complimentary.
Well,
Okay.
and what am I supposed to do? Prove to you? Am I supposed to carry the MRIs around with me? I mean, what do they want me to do? Really, what are they looking for in that answer?
Okay, next one. You are not working hard enough to get better. Okay, you just don't say that. There is no right answer for that one. You just don't ever say that. That is the end of that one. Because working hard as stroke survivor is working hard all the time. Everything is working hard. And it's a long, hard process. And different people will get to different points in the process where that may be the extent of how far they get. Some recover fully, some recover partially, and most of the time they are learning how to manage and just do things differently. So that is just a phrase you should just never, ever, ever say to somebody.
How was it phrased?
You're not working hard enough to get better.
Yeah. I got a bunch of responses, but we are learning not to respond. That is a bad question.
Yeah, that is just a bad question because
it's a bad statement. It's not really a question.
The working doesn't ever stop.
I do therapy 24/7. So screw whoever says something like that.
Okay, next one. Are you better now?
Well, I'm better than I was the day I had a stroke. I mean, what's better? I am in the middle of accepting that I am never going to be better. So, am I better? Yeah, I guess this is all I get. So, I guess the answer is yes.
So, stroke is a brain injury. It is not like your common cold or virus where you can actually get better. When you have had a stroke, there really isn't a get better. Will some functionality and different things like that improve? But just like I stated a few minutes ago, it can improve fully, partially, not at all. It's more, most stroke survivors learn how to adapt and do things slightly differently. But it's not, once you have a brain injury, there's no getting better from it. You don't get over it. Right. And so to ask someone, are you better now, is again just misguided.
Yeah.
Not knowing what to say.
I would have asked that question in the beginning to myself because I assumed I was going to get better. I hid very, very hard, and you know this, have helped. I didn't want to be different. I want to be me. There's a saying, and I don't have my phone, but it's, I miss the old me.
Yeah, that is the saying.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I will never, ever be that again.
And we miss the old us.
Yeah, very much.
You know, there's an old me too. So it's an old you, an old me, an old us. It's changed both of our lives.
So what was the question?
That one was, are you better now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the next one. This is always a good one too. I relate because I get headaches and feel tired too.
Yeah. I understand that. Because people believe that when they have a headache, it's the same headache. Sure, say it is, say it isn't. I didn't get headaches before my stroke. So it's something new. It's something I'm dealing with. I didn't have arthritis before my stroke. So it's something new that I'm dealing with. I didn't have everything in my head not make sense before the stroke. So it's something that I'm dealing with. Maybe people had all that stuff, you know, so they probably had it, but it's new to me because of my stroke. So what was the question?
Yeah. I can relate because I get headaches and feel tired too. And I know a lot of people are just trying to show sympathy and try to connect at that level, but neurofatigue is different than someone just feeling tired. Neurofatigue is often, it's a devastating long-term effect.
It spins your brain when you try to think, and when you're tired, it doesn't work. And what was the question?
I relate because I get headaches and feel tired too.
Okay, I don't think, okay.
You know, so it's they're
And
different.
and people do they understand. Oh, a headache. I've had
Mhm.
one of those. So yeah, people do relate, and people a lot of people get tired and have fatigue. So I understand relating. Just remember, for a stroke victim, it came out of nowhere. This is not something that we've been getting slowly worse. This
Mhm.
just, I woke up and I had this.
And the
So
headache is an ice pick going through your
there's a
head.
lot, yeah,
You know,
right.
I mean,
There's
it's not just I have a sinus headache or I have a headache. It's very sharp, intense
right,
in onset, and then disappears and comes back.
but
Different
somebody's
things.
saying that. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm worse than you. I'm just trying to say I didn't have any of this before day
Yeah.
one, and now I have it, so it's new for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this next one, I think we kind of already addressed it
Okay.
earlier. It's I know someone who had a stroke and they ran a marathon last week, got back to work, can stand on their head, etc. We've already kind of addressed that different strokes affect people differently. Your recovery level is going to be different for every single person.
Every stroke is completely different.
Yeah.
Brittany, right?
Yes.
Uh, the assistant for your Dr. Brittany from Dr. Willis's office over in Mount Vernon, she said it she said it about knees, but it relates to strokes just as much.
Mm-hmm.
I was my left knee healed so much faster. It didn't heal. It seemed like it was doing more
Mm-hmm.
than my right knee. And she made it very clear. Don't expect two knee surgeries to ever be the same.
Yeah.
They won't be. Everybody's different. Everybody heals different.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same thing in a stroke. And some people are affected more on their movements. Some people are affected more on their thoughts. So no two strokes are ever going to be the same, because that blood would have had to pool on the same place, and that person would have had to have the same memories for a stroke to be alike. So there's never going to be two strokes that are exactly alike. So if you're trying to figure out what's going on, listen.
Yeah. Okay. This next one's a good one.
Okay.
Okay. You always seem fine when you are with me.
Yep, I do. And I would not be out in public. You would not be seeing me if I didn't. I will not be seen unless I have everything together. I learned very early on that if I'm tired, I say things, I do things, I act different, I react different. I will not be out in public if I'm not at 100% and maybe even a little bit above.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see me, I am at my absolute best. And there's going to be about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours I can fit into at my absolute best. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Tamara gets to deal with it on our way home. And when I get home, and if I'm out in public for more than 2 to 3 hours, it usually takes me 1 to 2 days to get everything back in order so that I'm functioning around here.
And we say
It's why I don't leave the house. I mean, we've gone through this, and we've tried to reach out, we've tried to do things. I lose so many days to my head being messed up if I leave my house. I need everything in order. I need to know. So if you see me out and I'm 100% or I look like it, you're absolutely correct. I am.
Till we get home.
Well, you got about 2 hours, and then try to deal with me.
Well, and we will, if we know we have to go out for whatever reason it might be, there's days that lead up to that for prep time of you just doing nothing. Now we've gotten a lot better, obviously, going to the grocery store, that kind of thing. What we're talking about here is more a family gathering, and we're there only for a short period of time because of this, but it does.
Even the grocery store, though. If you see me at the grocery store, you see me at the automotive store, you see me at the beach, you're probably getting me at darn close to 100%. The beach is the only
Yep.
place that I'll go because we only have to go through a few people to get to a long walk.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm gonna be at 100%.
Or we don't.
Or
He
we
doesn't
don't.
go.
I don't go. A lot of times, Tamara will just go run the errands or
Mhm.
run to Ace or something on her own because I don't like that I've had a stroke. I've said it before. Something in me is very embarrassed when I trip. When my foot snags.
Mhm.
When
It's why we have to
when
stay
I
very
bump
flexible.
things and yeah,
with what
I
we
make
do.
I make when we're out, I make sure that I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Could have been worse. It must have been a mild stroke.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about it like this, yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm here.
Yep.
I don't have a wheelchair. I don't have physical therapy I have to go to every day. I am able to pretty well function. So, yep, it could have been worse.
Mm-hmm. However,
This is hell. I living inside four walls. I mean, my day consists of waiting for Tamara to get home. I mean, I don't have a real exciting life. The addition of the carport outside. Thank you, Mom and Dad, very much. Is making a difference, and it's gonna, I believe it'll help having a place to go outside and work, and it'll help me do more. But even at that, you're still within four walls. And what was the question? Sorry.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, you're right.
It must have been mild. It could have been worse. But any type of stroke is a traumatic health event, and it's a lifelong event.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said earlier, it's not like the common cold where you just get over it. It is life-changing. Our life has been altered and changed
100%.
for life.
Even I don't remember it all, but sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
People don't see how life-changing it has been. One, because we don't put it out there until now, because you didn't want people knowing really how much it's changed. So I've, for the last 4 years, been pretty much making excuses and that kind of thing so that people wouldn't know, helping you hide things, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
we have an
don't.
episode all about things that we've done to learn that, you know, when to do things, when not.
Yeah. People thought, you know, I had it under control. No idea. No idea how that is so not true.
We missed a lot of steps. We had a lot of steps that a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
You go to stroke recovery groups, you hear things, and the spouse always isn't as loving and caring and forgiving as what I have been blessed with. So thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay, this is just a stupid one. You picked a bad time, great time to have a stroke. Who the hell picks a time to have a stroke?
Yeah.
This is just stupid.
Yeah,
that's just a stupid one.
I don't like that.
If someone says that, they're just an idiot and a moron. Sorry. Okay. This is a term you have actually really struggled with.
I see it there.
Uh-huh. Being referred to as a stroke victim.
It's a really hard one because I am. I can say I'm a survivor because I am. But I'm also a victim. I mean, I am never going to get better from what this stroke has done to me.
Yeah.
Isn't that a victim? I don't know the true definition, but you sure think that.
In here, they refer to a stroke victim as more of a negative thing, and it feels quite final, which is why this group went to using the word stroke survivor, because survivors are living with the effects of stroke, but they shouldn't be defined by it. So it makes sense.
And I think that's
And-
individuals. I think everybody
Yeah.
has their own thing. Somebody says you're a stroke victim. I'm not going to stop and argue with them. I'm not going to move. I'll just move on. That's
Yeah.
not a hill to die on.
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't like it, but there are times
I don't like it when I
used
refer to
it.
myself as it.
Okay.
Because it makes me feel less. It makes
Okay.
me feel, because I do understand I will never quit healing from this. My brain will continually always heal. But am I ever going to get better? No.
Yeah.
I got that. But it will. I'll have little victories still here and there.
Yeah.
So, but you want to use the word victim, you don't want to use it. I don't like either one of them. I wish I'd never had a stroke.
Yeah. So at the end, they give 4 phrases that people can say instead, which actually these are pretty good. I just read them for the first time. And we get people are human. They're going to mess up. They're going to say the wrong thing when they're not meaning to say the wrong thing. That's human. But some of the phrases you can say. Thanks for sharing that with me. How is recovery going? Are you comfortable talking about it? Is there any way I can support you? Is there anything you want me to know?
All very good ways of putting it. The only thing I would add to that is if you're going to use any of those phrases, stop and listen. I mean, if you ask the phrase and just keep talking, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
So if you're going to ask, listen.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say whenever talking with a stroke survivor is the one thing to remember is they have had a brain injury.
I look like I understand what everybody's saying.
Their brain does not work at the speed of ours. And so throwing multiple topics in at once doesn't work. So slow the conversation down. Be present in the conversation that you're having with them.
Most times when I'm into a real conversation, I really understand it about a day later, maybe 2 days later. And I'll run through and Tamara will ask me, what are you talking about? I'll be, oh, you remember this? She's like, that was 2 days ago. It takes me a while to run it through in my head, to run the whole conversation, what it means, what it is mattering, what the person was really trying to say, because I find a lot that there's some hidden messages in what people are trying to say.
And sometimes there aren't, which we discussed too.
That could
There's
be
that
that part of the paranoia. The stroke
that
has
is
that.
like, no, that is not what they were saying. That's not what they were inferring.
Right.
So we do have a lot of that. Okay, those were those.
Well, thank you for your health.
I love you.
I love you.